Well, hello everyone out there. Been doing a lot of work since I last made a video. I did have a video of this working. This is the K2 open again. And inside, it's hard to tell because everything's green, but you're going to see a couple different things here. Here, there's two new boards. I mean, you got to kind of move it back and forth. There's a small rectangle here. This is the noise blanker board. That was pretty easy to build, and I did that a few days ago, and that works well, and I will demonstrate that once the radio's on. And so that plugs in on top of the RF board, covering up a lot of the components. Above that board is a larger rectangular board, which I'm kind of tracing in the air because it's hard to see it because of the color. That is the single sideband board. I just finished building that board and plugged it in. You build the board entirely separate from the radio, and then there's three connectors, and it simply plugs into the dot at the bottom, and you put a screw in it on a standoff, and it holds it in place. So I just put that in. So that's where that's at. Additionally, as long as I got the camera rolling here, this is the top of the radio that I have pulled out, and this little board is on here now, and that goes to a 9-pin output which connects the radio. It's a 9-pin. It looks very similar to like you would hook a computer monitor up to, but it's not. And you'll see it says AXIO. This is wired different than what you plug into a regular computer 9-pin, and you have to build the special cable that came with it to plug into your computer. It does plug into the computer, but you have to use their cable, because if you use the one, like a generic one you buy off the internet, you'll ruin this thing. What this does is give you control of the radio through the computer software. That wires back to this little module here, which you can see there, which is basically just a couple connectors. And those, and I'll put that down, those plug in up here. There's a connector there, that little tiny, so that the lid goes on upside down, that plugs in here, and that works. And I use Ham Radio Deluxe. It works great, and I'll demonstrate that. I have now powered this up since I put this on, so I decided what I'm going to do is power it up for the first time with the single sideband thing in, and go through the book in the first few power-up tests that you do when the single sideband connector's on, which this type of video I think is worthwhile doing. More interesting anyway. I know I enjoy watching live videos from like Jim Lindeness and others when they're actually doing some testing or something on the radio than just watching people solder parts. That gets kind of old quick. So I have a manual here, and I have to get to the page. This is the initial test of the single sideband connector. I do not have an antenna on here. Actually, I could put my antenna on. The antenna's on. Power cord's connected, antenna's plugged in. Oh, I don't have a speaker plugged in. Let me, yeah. Oh, and that's the frequency counter one, which it didn't tell me to plug that in yet. Okay, I'm just going to read this and do it as I go. Turn on the K2, verify that you see the usual Elecraft on the display. If you see info 080 or no display, you may have the single sideband detector plugged in incorrectly. If it appears to be installed correctly, unplug it and look for a short to ground in one of the pins of P1. P1 is the connectors that plug into the board, that are on the bottom of that board that plug into the RF board. So we shall turn it on. And it's working. And you can hear my noise. I'll demonstrate my noise blanker here in a minute. I'll just turn it down for the time being because I'm going to continue with this, and then I'll get to the noise blanker. Tap the menu button, then use the band's buttons to get to SSBA and SSBC. If you see dash displayed for SSBA and SSB. The single sideband adapter's microcontroller is not communicating with the main processor on the control board. Get to SSBA. SSBA and SSBC. AC. They're both there. That means it's communicating. If you see, alright, we already said that. Tap mode to select CW mode. Well, it didn't tell me to leave that menu. So you got to leave the menu first, right? Back out here. Tap mode to select CW mode. Set the RF gain to max. I don't have a dummy load on here. I hope that's alright. Well, I got an antenna on here. I don't have a tuner on here, though. Although it's a G5RV, it's probably fairly closely matched, like 40 meters. Set the RF gain to max. AF gain midway. Preamp on. Switch to 40 meters, it's already there. Connect to an antenna, headphone, or speaker, we already did. Verify the K2 performs the same on CW receive as it did prior to installing it. The adapter, the filters you had set up should sound the same and there should be no loss of signal. If strengths appear to be weak, see troubleshooting. I mean, it's working okay. I don't know if it's working worse than it was before because there's so much noise, it's really difficult to tell. It is working though. I have not realigned this yet, by the way, and I'm going to realign it again. You got to set the filters for the single sideband, and during that process, I'm going to realign it. Okay, let's not belabor that. It's working on CW. All right, BFO test. Connect the K2 internal frequency counter to TP2. Okay, my frequency counter is connected. Tap menu button and scroll to Cal menu entry. Cal. Hold edit and scroll Cal until you see Cal factor. Hold edit to activate the frequency counter. You should now see a BFO display reading between 4910 and 4918. 4913, yeah, that's good. On the LCD, the last digit may flicker. Not too bad. If the reading is 0 or out of range, a single sideband adapter may be loading down your BFO. Check, and they give you a bunch of capacitors to check. Well, it's working, so I don't have to check anything. Alright, that's done. Receive mode single sideband filter test. Selecting the fixed bandwidth single sideband filter. If you're still in Cal factor, tap menu. Select 40 meter band, I'm already there. Switch to lower sideband. And use Cal XFL, select filter number 1. Filter 2, filter 3, filter 4, filter 1. It's 220. Use the menu to select Cal Fill. All right. Cal. No. No, that's right. Cal. Try again. Cal. Fill. Where's Fill? PLL, fill, and activate the setup display. All right. If a bandwidth width appears after FL1 that says 2.20, it indicates that the variable bandwidth CW filter is being used for single sideband. The small L indicates lower sideband. That is correct. That's what's on the screen. Use the VFO name to change the settings for FL1 to FL1 OP1L. OP1L is the next available setting after 249. Okay. OP1 refers to the first option filter, in this case the fixed filter on single sideband. You should hear a pronounced difference in the audio when you go from 49 OP1, since this causes the single sideband adapter to switch between the CW filter and the single sideband filter. Leave the filter set for fill OP-L, OP1L, note OP2, OP5, also select OP1 since only one fixed filter is. That gets a little confusing, but use the VFO knob to change the setting. Wait a minute. OP4, OP1. Okay, that's the setting we want. Fill OP1L. You should hear a pronounced difference. Yes, we did. Since this causes the single sideband to come in. Leave the filter set. Okay, tap the band button to see the BFO setting for the first single side filter. Okay, that's it. That's the setting. You should see a display that says BF1 T120L, but mine says 113. The BFO frequency control parameter in this case is 120. It has a range of 0 to 225. A lowercase t appears in the BFO setting for BFO1. This is a reminder that on transmit, BFO1 is always used regardless of how you set it. Well, I don't see BFO 120, I see BFO 13. So I'm going to put it on 120. That's the frequency of the BFO. In kilohertz, adjust the VFO knob until the BFO is as close as possible to the LSB BF1T frequency from table 3. Oh boy. Tells me that the low setting upper sideband BF1T upper sideband, but that's lower. What am I missing here? Oh, I skipped a step. Back up. That's going to be next. LSB BF1T. LSB BF1T. 4913.5 is what I believe I need to move that to. Adjust it until the BFO is as close as possible to table 3. Yes, okay. 4913. Five. I see why they say close as possible. It's bouncing all over. All right. Then tap band negative to return to the BFO parameters display. Okay. Tap mode to select upper sideband. Notice the U over here. It's upper sideband. You should now see BF1 T200. Now I have 183, so I'm going to change that. I don't know why these numbers aren't matching to start with. It might be how I set the filters initially. I don't know. but it says I should have BF1T200U. That's what I got. Tap display to show the present BFO frequency. Alright. Adjust the VFO until it is as close to possible to be a USB BF12 on table 3. Now, just as a little side note, I'll show you the table I'm looking at. The table it's having me look at is on a couple pages up. And you'll notice, if we can focus, it's not going to focus real well, but these numbers are written in pencil. They're actually the numbers that you get off the crystals that you put in the radio. And that was when I was building the single sideband unit. It corresponds with the crystals that they send you, just so you know. Okay, so this should be 4916.3. Don't touch it. 4916.3. Got that. Tap band negative. It changed that. I guess it's supposed to be though. I'm going to leave that alone. That was 200U as you remember, but now it's 192, but I think it changed because I matched the crystal. Exit by hitting menu. Using only FL1, listen to a few single sideband stations using LSBN 40 meters and below and upper sideband at 20. In later section, it'll describe various ways to set up your filters 2, 3, 4 on receive. You will also be able to fine-tune your transmit BFO settings, if necessary, to match your voice. Well, that's cool. Use cal fill only on 17 meters and below. The BFO setting for lower sideband and upper sideband are swapped on 15, 12, and 10 due to the K2's frequency mixing scheme. Alright. Interesting. Well, let's throw this on lower sideband. My noise blanker's on. Can you hear that warble when I'm tuning? I don't believe that warble should be there. As I'm passing through somebody's voice, you get that kind of warbled digital sound. That's something with the VFO. I'm hoping that's going to clear up when I recalibrate it. Someone pointed that out to me on the video. Thank you for that. I listened to some other K2s on other YouTube videos, and they did not have that warbled sound when you're while tuning. It's alright if I stop on a voice, but if I'm moving it over somebody's voice, it goes out of sync. I'm going to play with the noise blanker.
You working a lot of DX today? Go ahead.
That's with it off. So, you can see what the noise is like in this neighborhood. I don't know what that is from. It's horrific. Can't even hear it talking anymore. You can just barely hear them. Now I'll turn on.
Let's flip back beam up. My friend, Yankee 2.
There's two settings. That's noise blanker 1, and that's noise blanker 2.
Okay, Yankee 2.
This is on the higher sensitivity. I'll put it on the lower. See, it doesn't do as much. Still got the crackle. Now I'll put on the highest setting. That knocks it out.
Okay, I've got it this time. Yankee 2, Hotel, Canada, Mexico. WA68
I'm going to try these filters.
5 and 9. The name is Mark, Mike Alpha Romeo Charlie, and located in, back to you, Yankee 2, Hotel Charlie Mike, WA68QL. Yankee 2, Hotel Charlie Mike, Yankee 2, Hotel Charlie Mike, you are set?
Alright, I'm not going to make a video of just me tuning around, but it's working. The filters are working. Just a couple thoughts on it. The noise I have, which you clearly heard, I suspect, and I don't know this for sure, I live across the street from a medical building. They have a huge parking lot, and they have a bunch of big street lights over there, like 20, well, probably 60 feet up in the air. I know a lot of those lights, if you have bad lights like that go bad, and you get like you get crackling RF noise coming out of those lights. It also could be a transformer in the area. It's either power line noise, or I think it's one of those lights across the street. I'm not really sure. One of these nights I need to walk around with a portable radio and try to pinpoint what it's from, because if I can find the pole it's coming from, if it is coming from a pole, I can call the power company and have them fix it, because that noise is horrible, as you heard. So the rest of this setup here, the next thing to do on this is the microphone configuration. I just bought a new microphone from Elecraft. I bought the Heil Pro K2, which is made to work with this radio and the K3. It's a headset, and it has the one thing I like about it is, I looked this up online. The mic element is an IC element, which is a condenser electric mic made for the ICOM radios, believe it or not. And it's the same element that's in the mics that are being used on the ICOM 7300 and other radios. And that mic has great audio reports on the radio, on the air. A lot of people do videos that I watch, ham radio videos, and a lot of people rave about the quality of that mic. So that's going to be the mic I'm going to have. I next have to build the antenna tuner. I can't actually, well, I could plug in my Kenwood antenna tuner and tune it up on this. That's like a 100-watt tuner, but it's a manual tuner. It would work, and I could transmit on it. But I would really, the next thing I want to do is build the automatic one. I did buy the automatic tuner that installs in this, and then I'm going to hopefully get it on the air. And this is only with 20 watts out. My eventual plan is to also build a 100-watt amplifier that installs into here. Now, when you install the 100-watt amplifier, it takes the place of the top plate. The whole top of this becomes a heat sink, and you no longer have your antenna tuner either, so you got to use a separate antenna tuner. So when I do build that 100-watt amplifier, eventually I will have to get the separate antenna tuner to go with it. So, but my plan is to have this to use at home with 100 watts, or switch the lids and put the lid that came with this one on without the 100-watt amplifier, which would contain the automatic antenna tuner and the battery, and take it on vacation with me. And I can run 20 watts on vacation, bring it home, flip the lids back on, and I'm back on 100 watts. That's the plan anyway. So I have a lot of more alignment to do. I still have to set up the filters for the sideband, which is coming up. I'm not going to videotape that. One thing I found with doing a lot of this alignment stuff on video is I don't concentrate as well because I'm worried about the video and I'm trying to talk, and I think I'm losing my concentration and not doing as good a job aligning it. So I'm going to do most of those alignments off video, but that's where we're at. So thanks for watching anyhow, and I will say 73 for now.